Are human beings important? Human beings tend to think they're kind of special in some way. The pinnacle of evolution, maybe, at the center of the universe, chosen in some way, made in the image of God. The world or even the universe was created, especially designed for us to live in. Are we important? I can't imagine antelopes or mountain gorillas asking this question. Maybe we don't ask it either, we just assume it to be true. But sometimes the question does arise in the context of a discussion about God. If God doesn't exist, if God didn't create human beings, what is the purpose of human beings? What value do they have? The implication being that the value of human beings lies not in the nature of human beings themselves, but in the fact that God made them in his image. And of course, the implication is always that human beings are more important, to have more value than other things, including other living creatures. I think this question can be asked in at least two ways. The first in a kind of philosophical way, and the second in a more existential way. We might ask philosophically whether human beings have some intrinsic value or worth. We might consider that, for example, in terms of our place in the environment, in ecology. In terms of our position on this planet, then yes, we're very important. We have the capacity to have an enormous impact on the environment and on the other beings with which we share this planet. And we are indeed having that impact. So this is a kind of evaluation in terms of the role that we play, measured in terms of our impact, our effect on the world. But I don't think this is quite what people mean when they ask whether human beings have any value. Let's say intrinsic value, even though in some schools of thought this may be bestowed upon us by God. In terms of our individual impact in the world, again, some individuals might seem to be more important than others, in a similar sense to the way that we as a species play an important role in the planet's ecosystem. Certain individuals have more impact due to their position of power. But again, I don't think this is really what we mean when we ask whether human beings have value. We're not suggesting that some human beings have more value than others, at least in our philosophical language, if not always in our behaviour. We're suggesting that there is some intrinsic value in being human, aside from our position in society or the world, aside even from our individual behaviour. This value is universal. Are human beings important? Well, I think I can answer yes to this question in this sense. The human species embodies or expresses certain features of the natural world that, taken in sum, no other creature does. Other creatures share some of these features, but not all of them. This is what makes us human. It's what makes us a particular species as opposed to other species. There may be other species or creatures throughout the galaxy that express or embody the same features, but I imagine that they have other particular features that make them also unique. So I think what gives us value is that we're a very specific expression of the possibilities of this universe at this time and this place. And I think that's kind of cool. Note that I think all the other species on this planet have a similar value. They're all distinct, special, hence species, I guess. Particular expressions of the possibilities of the universe. An external observer, without any personal stake in the question, may be equally fascinated by us and by an earthworm, I think, even while recognising our importance in that first ecological sense that I discussed a moment ago. Are we intrinsically more important than these other expressions of the universe? I think not. Not in this philosophical sense, at least. Not in terms of the temporal and spatial extent of the cosmos. If we say that we are, then I think we're shifting more into the existential mode of talking. When we speak existentially about this, we're talking about a relational view of value and importance. We're saying not that human beings in general, or certain human beings in particular, are necessarily important in themselves, but they are important to us. They're valuable to us. All members of every species value members of their own species above members of other species. We're no different. This is a consequence of evolution. We regard our particular genotype as more important. This is a consequence of our desire to pass on our genes. We value human beings over other species. We value people like us over other people who are different from us. We value friends over other people who are like us. And we value kin over friends. In a theoretical, abstract way, we may value all people equally. But in practice, we value those closest to us more, naturally and inevitably. The value that something has, including the value that human beings have, is context dependent. It's also scale dependent. Human beings may matter very much in the context of this planet, but not much in the context of the galaxy or the universe. My children are more valuable to me than they are to you, theoretical aspirations and claims aside. So yes, human beings are important. I'm important. You're important.